What is going on, trainers? DrumVillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go PvP content, and today we're talking about an Ultra League team, and I wanted to bring back one of the classics from the earlier seasons of Ultra League and give it a go since the meta's changed up quite heavily by this point, and this team's worked out really well for me. I would actually recommend that you run this team if you're looking for something to use in the Open Ultra League. Maybe you don't take too well to the Ultra League Premier Classic and you want to use some Legendaries and some XL Pokemon. This team holds its own surprisingly well. Although saying that, talking about XL Pokemon, this team does not require XLs either. There are no XL Pokemon on this team, so if you're under level 30, God forbid, or you just haven't had the time to grind out the XL candies for any of those top Ultra League meta picks, this team doesn't need them. The team isn't improved with XLs. Like, all these Pokemon sit very comfortably under level 40, even at their most optimal PvP IV spreads. Now, I don't want to waste your time too much with this intro, so hit the subscribe button if you're new, become an absolute legend, join the squad, and let's take a look at the team. So on the lead, we're bringing one of the OGs from the Ultra League back, Melmetal. Now, you might remember from the early seasons of Go Battle League that the meta was just Giratina, Cresselia, Swampert, Melmetal, Articuno, and Melmetal held its own very well back in those days and kind of died off in popularity a lot in the last few seasons, but it is still very strong, and as the meta's shifted around this season, I think it's got a lot of play to show what it can do. In the back, we've got Milotic, which is one of the more interesting water types in the Ultra League, with access to Dragon Tail to threaten the Dragon types, Surf as a charge move, Blizzard as an absolute nuke, and if you want to see a flag absolutely one-shotted, we got that in this video for you today. The Blizzard is an amazing coverage move to absolutely annihilate some picks in the Ultra League. And in the back, we've got another OG of the Ultra League, and that's Giratina, specifically running Shadow Claw because that really helps cover a lot of Melmetal's worst matchups, things like Swampert, Glaring Stunfisk, Registeel, just some of those matchups that can really punish Melmetal quite hard. Giratina's got pretty good coverage for they make a very strong pair, so it made a lot of sense to put these together on the same team. Now, it's worth noting that my Milotic is not PvP IVs at all. It is a 100% IV. You do want PvP IVs if you can get a hold of it, and you will get much more bulk and play out of it in general. And also, this opponent just caught, I threw 6 Thundershocks instead of 5, expecting a catch, and this still managed to catch, which is kind of impressive, but I'm still going to go for the Superpower before swapping out. Means I can guarantee shield advantage or switch advantage, and we do need the shields for that Dragonite because it does have access to Superpower that will hit Melmetal like an absolute truck. We tried to get clever and tried to catch a Focus Blast on our Giratina, which we're not able to successfully do, but we're not too particularly stressed about it. We're just going to take these Stone Edges all day long. We're thinking that Milotic and Melmetal are going to have a lot of play to round out this game, so we're just going to start throwing these Dragon Claws and chip this thing down. If they take us out with a Stone Edge, now that's completely fine. We'll just farm down with either, well, we'll probably farm down with Milotic because those Dragon Tails are going to be able to threaten Dragonite very nicely. They're going to swap out. We're just going to make the Dragon Claw, which is going to do big damage if they let this go through because it's super effective. Look at that, absolutely monstrous. And rather than shield up the Superpower that we would have to worry about, we're going to bring in Milotic, go for the farm down, not shield. We take the Dragonite out. We've still got 2 shield advantage, a very healthy Milotic, a very healthy Melmetal, and they've got a Lowen Sandslash in the back, which is fairly spicy for the Ultra League, but also you love to see more interesting picks like this in general. We do have to worry about the Bulldoze because it will hit us pretty hard. Melmetal's not the squishiest thing in Ultra League, but it's not the bulkiest either, especially now when you start comparing to some of the XL Pokemon that are now present. The opponent's going to catch a Superpower on Regirock. We're not too stressed about that, really. We still would have had to throw a move to take it out anyway. We're not shielding this up because if it is the Bulldoze and takes us out, that's fine. We trust that Milotic with the shield advantage and that much health and energy is going to be fine to take this matchup anyway. And it turns out they tried to bait us. It's going to cost them super heavily and really hit them with that double super effective Superpower, and now just finish them off with Milotic. We're going to take a very comfortable win there, and it's a GG. One of the great things about Melmetal is how accessible it is. If you've got access to the Meltan box, you can just get them from home. You don't need to be on the move. Like, the incense works just as effectively while stationary for gathering Meltans, so you can really just grind out those candies whenever you feel like it. Now, I've got a Cresselia lead here, and Cresselia against Melmetal was originally considered one of the better matchups for Melmetal because you're steel typing, you're resisting the Moonblast, the Future Sight, the Grass Knot, whatever it's got, you're going to be resisting it, so it's classed as a strong matchup for Melmetal. But when this actually plays out like this as you watch it, and they don't get the debuff, by the way, they don't get an attack drop in this matchup, but look at how actually close it is when you break it down. So honestly, when people used to swap in Cresselias and they get punished with a Melmetal, it's not that bad of a punish. Cresselia can put a lot of work into this matchup, and like I said, if they manage to get the defense drop from a Moonblast, sorry, not defense, attack drop from a Moonblast, it's even better for them. So I'm going to throw this Rock Slide here. If they don't shield, I think we're just going to be able to take them out. Yeah, we should be able to farm them down with the Thunder Shocks. No, we're going to throw. They were at a move there as well. We did CMP tie there. So we're going to take them out. If we'd have got greedy for the farm down, we would have had to go down a shield to get switch advantage. And looking at that right there, you might think, why swap out when Melmetal has such little health? Well, this is a Gliscor. This is the newly buffed Wing Attack Gliscor, which can be quite hard to deal with. And this thing getting a massive energy lead is pretty scary. We shielded up a potential Earthquake, got baited with Night Slash, and then they actually got the Earthquake through. And as you can see, it hits like an absolute truck, that Earthquake. It's an incredibly strong move. They're going to swap out to Charizard, where it's going to go for double surf, either give us a shield or we're going to take this thing out. And we swapped out because we didn't want Gliscor to get too far ahead of energy, and both Giratina and Milotic do quite well against it. So we weren't worried about then swapping, giving up switch advantage, and then being in a really tough position. But this Gliscor just got the boost, which you might think, oh my god, that's it, it's going to cost you the game, it's got the boost. But look, you can still take that Night Slash incredibly well. Yes, once they get 2 Night Slashes through, it is going to be in farm down range, but we're just going to catch a Night Slash instead. We realised that they were throwing exactly as soon as they got the energy for the Night Slash, obviously gunning for another boost and more attack buffs as fast as they could get them. So it's quite a predictable catch to get the Night Slash thrown onto the Melmetal, which definitely gives us enough room here to get to the extra Dragon Claws to burn off their shields and take them out, and that's going to give us the win. It's going to be a GG. That game a little closer than I would have liked it to be, thanks to that Night Slash boost, but also we're still able to pull it out with a little bit of finesse. Sometimes you're just going to make a catch to save a game at the end of the day. Also guys, don't sleep on Gliscor in the Ultra League. It's a little bit of an expensive build, but it is strong. Right, Pidgeot lead, perfect for Melmetal, resisting all the flying moves. We've got the Rock Slide for super effective damage. This opponent's going to swap into Charizard, which is not a good idea against Melmetal, because we can outpace them to Rock Slides. Even if they bait us with Dragon Claws, we still outpace them to the Rock Slides to one-shot them. So we can easily control switch advantage in this situation. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to mess it up. That's right. We're going to keep going here, and we're like, wait, no. Is this enough energy for Blast Burn? It is. But we don't call it. It's a Blast Burn. Boom! Absolutely smashed to pieces, and now we're in a scary situation because we've managed to cost ourselves what should have been an easy-to-control switch advantage scenario. We should have just brought in Milotic, controlled it with Surf, or we should have just forced his way through with the Rock Slides and one-shot Charizard anyway. And we've managed to make ourselves a lost condition here. So we're going to take these moves, build up all the energy, and we're going to try and Blizzard the Pidgeot. The opponent realises, you see there, they brought in Pidgeot for a split second and swapped to Swampert straight away, knowing that Milotic has access to Blizzard that will one-shot Pidgeot. We were expecting that. We were expecting them to try and get around the Blizzard somehow, so we didn't pull the trigger straight away. And now we still have that thing loaded, ready for the Pidgeot when it comes in the end game. We're not going to shield at Giratina, we just want to keep a shield for Milotic at this point, just to ensure that it can probably farm down this Swampert safely, still have the Blizzard loaded, and hopefully that's going to be enough to take out the Pidgeot. Now it's going to come in, we're going to throw a Dragon Claw for the extra bit of shit damage, because why not? We're here, we've got the energy, might as well make sure that this Blizzard's going to one-shot, but I assure you, a non-debuff Blizzard is going to annihilate Pidgeot. Boom, it's gone, it's out of there. That's going to be a GG. So another thing I love about this team, it's got the versatility, so despite the huge mess up at the beginning of the game, still able to bring it back and just wipe out that Pidgeot. Right, Tapu Fini. Now, Tapu Fini is not the easiest thing to deal with for this team. Melmetal does okay with the Thunder Shocks and the Rock Slides adding up. Tapu resists everything from Milotic, so you really want to avoid that matchup because they can go for the Moonblast. They're going to hit you pretty hard, and you're going to struggle to put work in back, especially since they're double resisting those Dragon Tail fast moves. Giratina can do okay if you're running Shadow Claw, but still it's not ideal because those Moonblasts are still going to be quite threatening to you. So we're just going to stay in here, play out this matchup and see what they've got in the back. You will soft lose this matchup in the zero shields. We're happy to do that. We're happy to keep shields for the two things in the back because we've got a feeling that at least one of them is going to have strong play against whatever they've got in the back. With Tapu Fini on the lead, it just seems like what I would tend to pair with Tapu Fini is probably not going to do as well against Giratina and Milotic. Now the opponent wants to avoid the farm down and swaps out aggressively into Registeel, which isn't super ideal for them because Giratina does pretty well against Registeel, but then we're thinking, well, maybe they're weak to Giratina in the back if they're that scared of it getting an energy lead. So we're going to swap out into Milotic, take a Zap Cannon, which is a very questionable play. We also really wanted to swap out to clear the attack debuff because their Zap Cannon did get an attack debuff. The opponent's going to catch a Surf on their Tapu Fini, which is a pretty solid catch on their part. And now there's Talonflame coming in. This is just a bit of a yikes situation overall because Milotic would have had great play against this backline if we'd have just spent Giratina on Registeel and then just had Milotic lined up in the back just to spam Surfs and Dragon Tails into this Talonflame. And now we're in a bit of a scary situation because a Brave Bird from this thing is going to hit us pretty hard and we're going to make a mistake here. They need all the energy they can get. It was an obvious bait because we had 2 shields left. We needed to call that because that Talonflame's got so much energy at this point. We really needed to predict that was going to be a flame charge because now we have to shield the Zap Cannon, which is again is a very questionable decision shielding the Zap Cannon at this point. We should have let that go through because we could definitely survive that Zap Cannon, but we cannot survive a Brave Bird at this point, and that Talonflame has the energy ready to go and it's going to win CMP tie. So the rough gist here is I lost this game because of my bad shield management at the end game. Having 2 shields left, great for me at this point, but then shielding up a flame charge at the wrong moment, shielding up a Zap Cannon when I really shouldn't have, is really what's going to cost me that game at the end, and it's going to be a GG. Also, I definitely don't recommend trying to catch Zap Cannons on Milotic. That thing will hit you like a baseball bat from the Hulk. I swear to God, it'll absolutely wipe you out. Do not do it. Now this game, if I remember right, is absolute chaos all over the place. So we've got Cresselia on the lead. We're going to overcharge a little bit before I throw the Rock Slide, just because we thought they might try and catch. A lot of people do try and catch moves from Melmetal because they try and predict you. They swap out into Swampert. We're going to build up excess energy and swap into Milotic. We tried to catch a Hydro Cannon there because we did swap out on the 5th Mud Shot. They don't fall for it because obviously as well, Swampert's probably going to build up to an Earthquake anyway against Melmetal just to threaten the one-shot, so it wasn't really the smartest attempt to catch, and we decided it's worth a shield to potentially shield up an Earthquake and just prevent some of that mass excess damage to us there. But you're going to see that we're going to keep throwing these Surfs, and now that we've taken an Earthquake, we're not going to shield another move. If they throw a Hydro Cannon, it takes us out, whatever. We're not spending a shield at this point. We're going to keep the shield for whatever we've got in the back and against what they've got in the back and just see what happens. And the reason we brought Milotic into Swampert instead of Giratina is we didn't want to get Milotic lined up with potential Grass Knots with all that energy later on down the line. You really can go either way against a Swampert. Say swap, you can go again into Giratina or Milotic, both are very solid shouts. We bring in Melmetal expecting to build up energy and throw a superpower before they get to a move, but they get to a Hydro Cannon first because we miscount their energy, so we have to spend a shield anyway, which isn't super ideal. They bring in Drapion. We're going to bring in Giratina, our Shadow Claw Giratina to Drapion to get to a Dragon Claw to finish them off. And I assure you there is reason to this madness. We're just going to take the Crunch because it's the same as taking a Moonblast roughly anyway from Cresselia. And we know that Melmetal is the win condition in general. The Swampert's going to come in. We go for the... we're actually going for excess energy. We expected them to get to a Hydro Cannon before we got off that Dragon Claw. So we're just happy to take it any which way. Cresselia comes in, throw the Shadow Sneak, get some chip damage in. And we know now the Swampert is in single Rock Slide range, which isn't super threatening. We know it's energy dry, which still isn't super threatening. There's the Grass Knot from Cresselia that we were worried to have against Milotic. Now a shield's down, we've got some energy, they've got some energy, they've got some health on Swampert. We're just praying that they don't get the attack drop, which they don't, which is pretty lucky for us. Now this Cresselia is in double Rock Slide range, the Swampert is in single Rock Slide range, so this is just about energy management. We're going to build up excess here, make sure we've got 2 Rock Slides loaded before we throw the next one. They're going to actually attempt to catch, I think, on Swampert yet, which is completely fine because it takes them out anyway. We needed to throw a Rock Slide against this thing anyway. And then we get to the last one against the Cresselia. The timer's coming up. This is going to be super close, but this is just going to give us the win in an absolutely chaotic match, but still GG's to the opponent. Seriously guys, I can't overstate how strong this team is in the Open Ultra League, especially for a non-XL team. Most non-XL teams end up lacking versatility because they can't keep up as much with the XL Pokemon. It becomes quite rock, paper, scissors dependent. So if you like the team, drop a like on the video, it helps me out massively. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to check out more teams we're going to be bringing for the Open Ultra League and the other leagues in general. And if you've got any questions about the team and running it, any advice you're looking for, be sure to ask in the comments down below and I'll try and get back to you let you know what my thoughts are on specific scenarios, if there's things you're running into and you want some advice on how to handle them. So as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch all of you absolute legends next time.